I think Brandon Aiyuk had a really underrated season last year. Not a lot of people talked about him as much as he probably deserved. I thought he played very well. I mean, he ended the season with 748 receiving yards. When you add on another, 77 rushing yards. So he definitely had some moments last year. Let's get into the film study, talk about what I like about him. And a lot of it is people are going to say, well, he just sort of is able to get schemed open by Kyle Shanahan. And I think you're kidding yourself if you won't admit that that's clearly a part of it is, yes, Kyle Shanahan, it's a dream to play for Kyle Shanahan. He'll help get you open. But at the same time, let's remember, Aiyuk didn't choose Kyle Shanahan. Shanahan chose Aiyuk. And there's a reason for it. It's because Aiyuk is great in this system. So what's going to happen on this play is that it's a cover 3 zone. You see the route that Aiyuk is running. So he's going to be running a route over the middle. There's a play action that gets New York players out of position. However, there is one way this play could fail. If the cornerback, who's lined up with Aiyuk currently, reads this play, he could run in, try to cover it up, and at least make it difficult for Aiyuk to get open immediately. And then at a certain point, you hope that the Giants linebackers are able to get back in position. But watch how right when this play starts, Aiyuk is doing just a great job of this stem portion of the route, which I talk about a fair amount. It is very important with receivers. You want to have a guy who is going to run this beginning portion of the route well, and he's going to put himself in position to succeed, make things easier on himself by making it seem as though he could be running any route on the route tree, even though he is running over the middle. So you see that the Giants corner who's covering him is starting to bail a little bit. He's running further back, which is exactly what Aiyuk wants. Aiyuk doesn't want him to break in too quickly, because if he breaks in too quickly, Aiyuk might not get open. And as you see, when he cuts, he does get wide open. And I have to say that if he had to run that route for another second or so, it probably wouldn't have been open. So it's good that he did that. And that's what I mean. Where, yes, it's a system. Yes, you can say, Kyle Shanahan and the rest of the 49ers offense were what cleared that window. And that's true, but at the same time, that part of that play could have been clogged up with a lesser receiver talent in that area. So that's one of the things I like about Aiyuk. And then there's something like this. So similar things, it's cover 2 zone again, and similar idea, right? Play action, he's running a route over the middle, but this time you notice it's a lot closer to the line of scrimmage. And the reason for that is because the New York Giants players are going to be out of position a lot closer. So that's another thing I like about Aiyuk, is that he can kind of do it all, and he can use his route running to get himself more open, but he's also just fast enough that he can run a quick slant route. Like, watch, as you see, very quick, but Aiyuk wide open, makes the catch on the run, and is able to pick up a good gain because, he has the speed to do that, and he has good acceleration to start up, and he's able to, the acceleration is really the key thing. First couple steps, he goes quickly, and he's able to pick up that solid play, which is something that the Shanahan offense is somewhat built around. And then there's also stuff like this. I brought up his rushing yards. To be honest, I'm a little surprised it was only 77 rushing yards, because I feel like I saw him several times make some great rushing plays. But I think part of that is just because, every time he had a rushing play, it was seemingly like a highlight reel one. He ended up with just 6 rushing plays on the year, so that's a big part of it. But on this play, so he's currently lined up as a receiver, but he's going to take a pitch back and then run to the offense's right. So a lot of how it works is you have a couple New York Giants players who are going to be blocking just the edge right there. You also have a tight end who fakes it though he's going to the left, then runs over to the right and is going to lead block. You have a right guard and right tackle who are going to go out and block as well. The play action is going to help. So a lot of stuff. You don't need to keep track of all of it. Just watch what happens. Right when this play starts, you notice that it's a little pitch back to Aiyuk. Play worked well. So again, part of it is, yes, Kyle Shanahan putting Aiyuk in a position to succeed. That's good. That's what your offensive coach is supposed to do. And in this case, it's the head coach. Sometimes it's offensive coordinator. But what I like about Aiyuk, and I've seen him do this a couple of times with rushing plays, or not even rushing plays, sometimes just when he's in open space, is at this point, I think a lot of guys would just sort of speed up, power through, and they might end up getting tackled before they get into the end zone. What Aiyuk does a good job of is he knows how to use his blockers, to allow him to get open. Because watch how he slows down a little bit, which allows him to sort of read the play. He knows where to go, and he gets into the end zone for a touchdown. So some good stuff there from Aiyuk. You know, he's very quick, very good with the ball in his hands, good in open space, can move very well, and on top of this, he's smart in open space, which is really just everything that Kyle Shanahan looks for. So it really is a perfect fit, and you know, I remember at the time, I liked this fit, and it even exceeded my expectations as someone who liked it. So that, I think, says how good of a fit this has been. Like, let's move over to this play now. At the end of the day, this is the main thing that you want Aiyuk to be good at, and it's honestly the main thing that Aiyuk is good at. It's really the Kyle Shanahan play. It's you run play action, have a receiver run over in the middle. Since your opposition is in zone coverage, you can find a gap, throw it, blah, blah, blah. We get how it works. But what's interesting about this is going to be how exactly it happens. Just watch how quick Aiyuk gets to that spot, and then with a low throw, he's still able to make the catch while moving forward. A lot of guys, I think, sort of, you know, they make the catch, but they kind of dive to make the catch, or they, you know, don't keep going. But I thought Aiyuk did a great job of, he focused on making the catch. He didn't, you know, just focus on what he's going to do after the catch, but then he was able to easily, you know, seamlessly turn around and run over and pick up some more yards. So again, you want guys with yards after the catch? Well, that's what Brandon Aiyuk can get for you. And if you want someone who can just get open in those zone coverages, that's what he can do for you. And to be honest, while a lot of what people talk about with him is going to be how he fits in that scheme, I do feel like he could be good in any system. Like right here, for example, this is going to be a man coverage play. In New England, they did this a couple of times when they would go up against a team that is sort of used to opposing teams playing zone against them because they have good running games, like San Francisco. What New England would do is they would try to just play some man and throw them off. We saw New England have really good success last year doing that against Baltimore, for example. They're trying to do it here, but the difference between, you know, San Francisco and Baltimore is San Francisco has a receiver who can consistently win in man, and that receiver's name is Brandon Aiyuk. Because watch what's going to happen on this play, as it is man coverage. He's running a route over the middle in this cover one play, and see how he does this. So right off the bat, really good first step, fakes out 31 right there, and now he's past him already. Because again, he has speed. It's 4.5. It feels like 4.3 speed sometimes. He's able to move. But then watch how he fakes to his right, gets to his left, gets wide open, and is able to make a grab and even make a move after it and pick up the first down on that play. That's what Brandon Aiyuk can do. And sometimes it doesn't come into play. Sometimes it does. You want to make sure you have at least one guy who can win one-on-one matchups. And Brandon Aiyuk can do that. Obviously, Kittle can do it when he's healthy. Deebo Samuel has shown he can do it. So really, I think, really underrated receiving core, San Francisco. And Brandon Aiyuk, really underrated, I think. He had a great rookie season and should probably be getting talked about more than he has. You can make the argument Brandon Aiyuk had the second best rookie receiving season last year. Obviously, Justin Jefferson had the best. No one's going to argue that with 1,400 receiving yards. But Brandon Aiyuk was up there with number two. You know, CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, those are kind of the argument. You could throw Jerry Jeudy in there if you want to. There's a few guys who had really good seasons. Aiyuk is one of them. I'm interested to see what he can do next year with potentially Trey Lance throwing to him. Should be a lot of fun. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.